Hello, listeners of the SOT Truth podcast, the alcohol-fueled, chapter-by-chapter reread of the SOT Truth series with a vault full of craft brew on the side. I'm Jade.
And I'm Nate, and today we are descending into Chapter 54 of Stone of Tears.
That's right. Just a quick little note, we have officially changed our name to the SOT Truth podcast. I don't know if you noticed, we didn't really make a big deal about it, we just started saying it differently. We have been thinking about this for a while, and we just think it's better for us and for you guys. If you're searching it, it should be easier to find. You don't have to type in all the craziness that we had before.
All the squigglies? Mm-hmm. Those are really hard to do on a cell phone.
So it's more streamlined, and we hope that this is good for everybody. Let us know if you have any feelings at all about it or not.
Yeah, we'd appreciate it. You might have noticed that the episode titles have different numbers on them, and they're all labeled according to the book and the chapter, so people could find them. If they wanted to hear about that thing that happened in a certain chapter, then they could jump to that title, or that episode. We realized that the way we were doing it, they're just kind of named randomly, and that doesn't really tell you anything about what's inside. And since we try and keep spoilers to a minimum, that would probably be a good thing for us to have.
Right.
So they could have any idea at all what they were about to listen to before they did.
Right. So we hope that these things help. If you guys have any input, we would love to hear it. If not, we're just, trying our best.
We're making it happen.
One more thing we wanted to bring up before we get into this chapter. The book release of Children of Dahara,
yes.
The complete edition, is still forthcoming. That is happening February 2, 2021.
I may have said 4 the last time I brought it up. Just forget all that. Just never mind. It's okay. February 2 is where it's at.
And it will be available at Barnes & Noble, Amazon, and all your favorite places to buy books. So, get that. And speaking of that, we are starting to work on the Patreon series for those books, starting with Scribbly Man. So if you're going to want to check those out, you'll be able to see us over on Patreon.
Now, we are still planning on doing the chapter-by-chapter reread, as we do at the end of these series that we're going through now. Right now, it's the SOT Truth. We are planning on doing the Nikki Chronicles, all the books that come beforehand, everything. We're doing everything. So eventually, we will get there. And we're still going to do our regular thing, but we figured just because they're coming out now and a lot of people are talking about them, it might not be a bad idea to just have a conversation about that.
Yeah, and then we could do overall book talks. It will be maybe a little bit more condensed, obviously, because it won't be chapter by chapter, but it'll be more of an all-encompassing, spoiler-filled kind of conversation that we can't really have here yet, and it's going to take us a long time to get there.
Yeah, well, that's true, and I'm fine with it.
Yes, I am too. Speaking of that long time, though, maybe we should just, cut through this and get there to this chapter so we can get to the next one, and so on.
And then, well, how long are you going to go with that one, Jade?
About that long.
About that long.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So, the chapter opens with Richard and Pasha heading down to the vault. It's pretty typical of a castle or a palace where it's nice and fancy upstairs, and then as you descend down lower and lower, it just turns into a place that's carved out of the rock. It's very plain. There's no fanciness.
It's cold and wet.
I'm sure it smells great down there.
Oh, yeah.
Just all the still water.
Yeah. Which, it actually seemed kind of funny to me that the prophecy was kept down there after talking about it being wet down there, because I was like, that seems like a terrible place to keep books.
The worst place, in fact, to keep books.
But they're being kept down there for protection, just like the palace records, because only a few people are allowed access. So they must have some type of, climate control in this room with the magic.
They can do magic, so you'd have to assume. Don't think for a second that if I was a wizard and lived in a place like the old world, where it's very, very warm, that I wouldn't have a little personal AC spell going at all times.
Yeah.
All times.
Nate, we need you to turn off the AC because then, you can focus your energy over here with us while we kill this thing that we need to kill.
Can't do it, fellas. I'm giving you a solid 80%. That's the best I can do right now. I might be able to see you at 85, but not temperature-wise, though. No, we're staying a cool 70.
So Warren is to prophecy as Jed is to other forms of magic, according to Pasha.
We are to beer.
Yeah. Every wizard has their own specialty. The two of them enter a library-like room where the two sisters are sitting, just like the ones in the prelate's office, guarding the rest of the room.
They're always doubled up.
Yeah.
That's got to be a thing. Like the quads, they have a certain amount of people because of a function they have to do.
Mm.
So I'm wondering if there's two sisters on purpose.
Well, there was 3 sisters on purpose that went and got Richard, so it makes sense.
That's true.
Huh?
I don't know, but it's something.
Once these sisters hear that Warren invited these two down there, they are cool with it. They're fine with them coming in.
Yeah, Warren's like the rope guy at a nightclub. It's like, hey, my friends want to come in. And the owner looks over, nods, and he's like, all right, you guys are cool. Come on with me.
I got you on the list.
Yeah.
Warren thinks Pasha looks hot in her dress, and he's telling her that. And when she accidentally calls him Mole in return, Warren actually doesn't mind, surprisingly, because moles can see where other people can't.
I think that this explanation from Warren comes from many years of being picked on and him trying to find the silver lining as a after effect of him being picked on. Well, moles are actually good because of what he says. And it's not that it's not true. It's just, you can tell he's put some thought into it.
Oh, yeah, he's trying to make the best out of a bad situation.
Yes.
But it's good because he's trying to make sure that he has the power over that. Fuck you, call me Mole all you want. I don't mind.
I could be smart and sneaky. Stuff that you can't be. So, Also, I can read. And if you're calling me Mole, then...
So, Pasha tells Warren what happened to Jed, and he makes a snide comment, surprisingly, actually, also to me, because he seems like such a meek guy that this comment was like, whoa, bud.
Yeah.
He said the creator was teaching lessons about holding your head too high to see where you're going. And yeah, I couldn't believe that he said that.
He's a smartass. It's like Richard. Richard is more confident more of the time, but he's very flippant. And so Warren, he's a meek little guy, but then when he's safe, when he's in his element, then he can talk some shit.
Yeah, he's much more confident down here in the vault.
Because he's smart. If he's in a confrontation, he kind of shuts down a little bit, and he's not ready to defend himself. But if it's not in a situation like that, then he can really shine, and I think that's gonna be the basis for Warren.
His character.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because then he tells Pasha that she should be mad at Jed. It doesn't matter what she looks like on the outside. Beauty is on the inside. So even if she looks like shit, she should be mad at him about that. So he's like, I don't know, he's trying to work his mouth game.
His mouth game.
That's not the right way to say that, but I'm going to leave it.
Well, I mean, when you're talking to girls... No, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah, you got it.
But it takes a whole extra little piece of him because he's hitting on her right now.
Yeah.
That's what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's turning it on. And so he feels really confident right now. Another thing that just a moment ago, well, it was last chapter, he was all like, hi, Pasha, being kind of weird. He's not that way right now.
Yeah,
it's
calmer. Like we've entered his lounge.
Yeah.
And he's wearing his smoking jacket and a glass of brandy or something. He's like, enter.
I've been expecting you guys.
Yeah, welcome.
Welcome to the Lair. He would have to call it the Lair.
I did think it was funny, though, because although they seem like they've been together in the castle for a long time, it does not seem like they know each other very well. So the fact that he's like, beauty is on the inside. It doesn't matter what you look like. You don't even fucking know her that well. So the only reason you really like her is because tits.
Because tits.
So
exactly.
You're not that much better, you know?
Of course, we do know that with the exception of, say, Dark and Rawl, evil people are kind of ugly in these books, and the good-looking people are better.
You mean like the Disney rules?
Kinda, yeah.
And anything with green, lime green, is for sure not good.
Yeah. Well, and like take Dark and Rawl into consideration for just a moment. He's dead and creepy now, right? So even if he was really good looking in life,
alive, okay?
Yeah, that's true. Because the burn and okay.
I'm just saying he in general, like him as a person, was creepy.
Oh yeah, yeah. If we're taking away points for that, then sure.
But no, I follow what you're saying.
Yeah.
So Pasha, she's pretty, so she has to be good.
One would assume.
But Jed is also apparently hot, and he's a dickbag, so...
Well, yeah, he is. So, not Disney rules. Well, surprise. So, Pasha is told she can't go into the back with Richard, and ends up rubbing his shoulder, his being Warren's, and surprise, convinces him to make an exception for her, even though she's a novice.
So she's not allowed to go back normally.
Yeah, but then she's all like, oh, really, buddy? I need somebody big and strong to open the door. And he's like, I'm big and strong. Yeah, no, I can get you in. And he comes up with this lie to tell the other sisters about her knowing Haida Haran to make it fly. Though Pasha isn't super happy about that because it's a lie and lies are bad. And she does say something like, you know what the sisters will do if they catch you lying.
Right.
And that perks Richard's ears up because, what the hell? Warren has a collar too. I keep forgetting that. I keep picturing him like he's an employee. He's just kind of there. But no, he's got one too.
Right.
So that they can give him pain too. If they catch him screwing around, then he's in just as much trouble as Richard is, or potentially could be.
Right. Well, maybe even more, because Richard's got a mouth on him and everyone's scared of him right now.
That's true.
So, they go deeper into this room, and Warren puts his hand on a metal plate, and a piece of the fucking wall moves aside.
He high-fives the wall.
Which is awesome. And it allows them to walk into a smaller room, also filled with books. Warren shuts the wall behind them and says that these books have been getting more use than normal lately, even though they're super fucking old, because the prelate has been bringing her two sisters, not her two sisters, the two sisters.
Two of the sisters.
Yes. Ulyssia and Fenella, who are apparently actually her bodyguards, down there to do some secret looking at the books when nobody's around.
Peeking around at stuff. And of course, Richard's like, well, how do you know it's the prelate? Because everybody gets kicked out. And I thought he was going to say, well, they let me stay in because I'm just,
they need
a guy down there. Yeah. And how appropriate that his name was the Mole, but that, no, you wouldn't let somebody named the Mole in on your secret book looky sessions. Probably. No, him. Keep that guy out.
Warren says that the reason he actually knows is because this is all his shit. Like, he knows the little things on these pages, the smudges that are his and the smudges that are not his and were not there yesterday. So, like, he figures it out. He's not dumb.
They're his books.
Mm-hmm.
The people at the palace think that it's the palace library, but these are my books, okay? Yeah. They didn't put every single one in order from A to Z twice. I did. I love them. They are mine.
Oh.
Sorry. What were you saying?
So, as Warren flips through one of these books, Richard sees a drawing that sparks something in his mind.
Light bulb.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I know what the fuck that is. But we keep moving, and Warren shows him the prophecy that has to do with him, and asks Richard if he knows Haida Haran.
I love how they know Richard has no background in any of this. And he's like, hey man, I've been studying this for years. You're completely new to any of this stuff. What do you think? You got anything? Because I'm lost.
You have an opinion? I need yours. Richard says he doesn't know Haida Haran, and he asks about the argument over the meaning of the prophecy.
Warren tells him, apparently, that it has to do with the translation. Some people think that things mean one thing in one language, and it must mean a certain thing in another language. It limits the